Hi guys, it's me, Boxy the Boxmaster here, and today I'm gonna do another review. And now, last review, I reviewed a pretty edgy R-rated movie in the form of Deadpool and Wolverine. So I decided to tone it down a bit and review Murder Drones. It's a wholesome web series about a bunch of cute little robots and their adorable adventures on their snow-coated planet. And
no, please stop beating my own eggshells in front of my family.
And yet, I still feel nothing.
Nah, just kidding. It's utterly horrifying. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a review on Murder Drones because I just finished the series last night, and I'm just gonna give my quick thoughts. And now the thing here is that with this review, I'm actually gonna be doing a speed paint as well. And with my other two reviews where I would go in with no spoilers, and I'm gonna go into spoilers, and I'll give a spoiler section to show you where to skip. And but here I'm just going to go over the basic structure and just tiptoe over the spoilers. Like, I don't straight up tell you what happened, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's begin. Alrighty, so Murder Drones is a series that was created by Glitch, which, fun fact, is a web series studio, or whatever you want to call it, that is created by the same dudes behind SMG4. You know, SMG4, that really weird YouTube channel about a bunch of Gmod, the bloopers with Mario characters and a buttfuck load of memes. Yeah, that SMG4. But yeah, the main plot the story is basically like humanity accidentally fucked around, and they ended up eradicating themselves, and they ended up causing a nuclear winter, killing off all humanity. And these robots that they created, called the assembly drones, basically decided to take out with their footsteps and create their own civilization with where they would have their own children. Don't ask how a robot can have children, because I don't fucking know. But apparently the company that was responsible for the drones in the first place somehow survived, and they apparently have made these robots called Murder Drones to kill them off. But the main character, who is a assembly drone named Uzi, ends up becoming friends with one of them named N. Which, fun fact, all of the Murder Drones names are literally just one number, one letter. Like there's N, like I mentioned. Then there's also V and J, which, I swear to God, they must be massive fans of Death Note. I don't know, but yeah, but let me just say, yeah, that's basically the main structure, and however, it gets a lot more deep, which really gets a bit too deep, but I'll get to that later. But one thing I will say is that I freaking love the aesthetic and the animation of this show. Like, honestly, it just gives me a lot of vibes of basically it just being a fusion between Invader Zim and BioShock, because it also just gives me that vibe personally. And not only that, the animation just generally looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, the animation is spot on. The lighting is fantastic, and not only that, the expressions on everyone, absolutely beautiful. Like, holy crap, this is an absolutely amazing looking show. Well, and the best thing is that it's not even made by some big name company. Like, this is all just by some indie studio. Well, that started off making a bunch of weird ass Gmod videos. But yeah, and then there's and not only that, there's also the action sequences. Like, no joke, the action sequences are also, holy crap, these are genuinely amazing as well. And also let me say right now that despite it not really being actual blood or guts or anything, but holy crap, there is a whole lot of dead robots here. Like, no joke, there are so much instances of robots blowing up, ripping each other open, and freaking just ripping each other to pieces. Like my god, like, and the best part is that it's not even actual blood. Like I said, instead it's just a bunch of oil. Don't worry, kids, that's not blood and ligaments that you're seeing. It's instead just cable and oil. Like, honestly, it reminds me a lot of what Samurai Jack did before it got picked up by Adult Swim, where instead of just the characters being torn to shreds, not being real humans or whatever, they're instead robots. So the blood is replaced by oil. And honestly, yeah, I think that this show does that a lot more graphically with Samurai Jack, because not only does the gore look genuinely looks badass, but also genuinely, yeah, honestly, gut-wrenching. Like, no joke, I actually kind of got a little bit grossed out. And not like, oh, that's so gross, that's disgusting gross. Like, I mean that like as in, oh my god, that's so gross, that's awesome gross. So, and, yeah, like, honestly, if it weren't, and like that, there's also some other pretty, no joke, this show is just straight up, even though it's not blood, I can safely say this show is definitely not for the kids. Like, holy crap. And not only that, there's also a lot of really, really scary, like, genuinely horror moments. Like, no joke, there's actually some moments that I feel like wouldn't be out of place in, like, a Konami horror game or something. And yeah. But, yeah, like, honestly, if it weren't for, and however, it's not just, all the blood, the oil, robot blood, and shit like that. There's also a couple cuss words and profanity here and there, but not a lot. And I will say that if it weren't for all of that, I honestly think that this would have been straight up in place if it was in stuff like Nickelodeon or Disney XD, for example. Like, I think that this show fits very well in that vibe, and I can definitely see that here. Which, like, I kind of think it kind of embraces that, because it just gives off this whole vibe of the 2012 Linkin Park or Skillet, 3 Days Grace, he's Evansine, I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't remember, but Starset, like, it honestly just gives me so much of that vibe, and it especially comes in with the soundtrack, which is this really awesome sounding synth edgy sound, which I also quite like. And like no joke, like seriously, yeah, you know how a lot of people back in 2016 when the Lighthouse was first being promoted, everyone was gonna be like, oh, holy shit, this show looks so cool. Well, I bet it's gonna be the show that would bring Nickelodeon back to form after having such a genuinely awful couple of years, half a decade. But it ended up just being a second cash cow for Nickelodeon alongside SpongeBob. but to the point where the network ended up just being the SpongeBob and Loud House show, and didn't really give any of their other shows a chance. Yeah, it honestly kind of just, in my opinion, Murder Drones, if what is basically the show that would be a show that would have been on Nick if we lived in a timeline where the Loud House actually saved Nickelodeon. Instead of just making it worse. But, whew. Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to remember if I, can remember anything, but, yeah, that's basically all I really have to say with the animation aesthetic and all that stuff. Like, all of it is genuinely beautiful. Well, like no joke, this is an honestly amazing sounding, amazing sounding and looking show. Like, honestly, like, prompts to the animation team. Like, honestly, hats off to you folks. Yeah. There's also the characters whom I honestly really enjoyed. Like, I can't really think of a single bad one, if I'm being honest. Like, I think that Uzi and N are two really enjoyable and fun and likable protagonists, and I think that their chemistry is really well done, and generally I think that they're really fun. They're just really interesting and characters generally in that aspect. And also on watching this, I was like, are they gonna get together? So I hope that they're actually gonna get together. I know that they kind of teased that with the pilot episode with some other dude Fruzy, but come on, you just have to have them be together, are you? And then I'm sorry for spoilers, but the last episode showed off that they're gonna do that, which yay! like later, the second I saw it, I was all like,
yeah, no shit.
But yeah. But yeah, that was pretty nice to see that, and there's also and then there's also V, who was that crazy bitch who was just noodling, who was just said cock and ball torturing that guy, yeah, in that clip I just showed you a while ago, and I also thought that she was pretty fun. Like, I thought she was funny, and I honestly really liked her arc throughout the series. And however, I kind of feel like that the way her arc ended was kind of weird. Like I feel like that episode 6 was already a pretty great way to end that arc, but they ended up adding up to it in episode 8. And while I am satisfied with how it was, I kind of feel like that I was a bit conflicted with that, but despite it, I still quite enjoyed Edv. Like, she was funny and all, and yeah, and there are also some other characters. There's like, I think that Jay is all right. Like, she didn't really do much, but I think she's fine, I guess. And then there's other characters like Uzi's parents, which, like, I think that it was stated that Uzi's mom died from unknown reasons. However, so basically her dad's like a single father, and I think Uzi's dad was okay. Like I kind of feel like that he's a bit of a douche thanks to something he did in the first episode, but overall he's okay. And it ended up being revealed in the last 2 episodes that Uzi's mom is alive and is trapped as some spider thing, and and she helps out for the final battle for a while. And like, I kind of would have and then there was a moment where Uzi's mom and Uzi's dad actually meet, and I honestly and honestly, I feel like that could have led to a really nice moment, but that didn't really happen, and I was kind of disappointed by that. And there's also this one Russian character named Doll, and I quite liked her, and I actually really liked her even, and her whole gimmick is that she speaks Russian and no other language, like, and also and she also, I don't know why, but that gimmick, her gimmick alongside her voice, she honestly reminds me a lot of Lady Rainicorn from Adventure Time a little bit. Like it also just kind of gives me that vibe, and gives me the same vibe as her, or did that. And yeah, I think Doll's cool. Like, I think she's pretty badass and stuff. But like, however, there's this one thing with her that I kind of feel like that they should have added onto, but they kind of just didn't really, unfortunately, and that kind of made me a little bit sad. But hey, I'm totally fine with that. And then there's also and then there's also some other characters, and honestly, there are some other characters that really feel like that they're going to be important, only for them to not really do much, which that's not bad per se, but like I kind of feel like that there could have been more done with them, if I'm being honest. And yeah, sorry about that, but and also, and that I kind of feel, and but yeah, that's really about it. They were only really there for comedic relief a little bit. And then there's also the villains, who's this crazy bitch named Sin, and honestly, I actually think that she's actually really fucking cool. Honestly, not only are her abilities and her design really freaking cool, especially and I also really like how how, despite her basically being a completely blank slate, who honestly sounds a lot like GLaDOS from Portal a little bit. She's honestly genuinely expressive, despite not really expressing much emotion. And not only that, her power set is also really cool, and she even does something really sick in the last 2 episodes, and also but no, and also but there are actually some genuinely really horrifying scenes with her. Like, I actually felt scared. Oh my god, I cannot believe big tough guy me is freaking scared about a little freaking robots. Oh my god, I am a pussy. But yeah, but yeah, overall, I think that the characters are really fun, and there aren't really any bad ones that I could find. And only that, I did get 2 characters together who I was really hoping that they'd get together. So yeah, that was nice, I guess. Also, I actually recognize a couple of the VAs here. Like, for example, well, I recognize that Uzi was played by Sadie Spark, and I recognized that N was played by the funny pink monkey who got noticed by Eobard Thrawn. So yeah, those are pretty epic. But yeah. However, despite all this stuff I really enjoyed, I had a couple gripes. Like, for example, I kind of feel like that the ending, while not bad, I think it was a good ending. It felt a little bit underwhelming for me personally. And 2, man, this series is absolutely confusing at times. Like, no joke, there were so much moments where I honestly kind of felt a little bit confused as to what happened. And that's saying something who is a FNAF fan a FNAF fan and someone who watched Akira and basically understood everything. So yeah, that's a bit wild, but yeah. But in my opinion, that's not a bad thing, as I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are happy that this series is confusing because they get to do a bunch of theory videos and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I understood the half of the lore and shit like that, but I kind of was a bit brain dead at times as to the context. So yeah, there is that, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's definitely not the worst stuff out there. So yeah, but yeah, those are really my biggest issues. So outside of that, out for the series, but overall, what do I think about Murder Drones? If I'm being honest with you, despite me having some issues here and there, I overall really enjoyed it, as I was genuinely invested in basically the whole thing despite its issues. As honestly, yeah, I honestly kind of find it hilarious how what Murder Drones, despite being made by an indie series on YouTube, is still better than some of the shit that Netflix has. Like, no joke, the fact that we got the fucking Marmaduke movie over shit like the Wings of Fire series and the Bone series honestly fucking bedazzles me. Like, what the hell? Literally, never. Whoever was at Netflix, never let bro cook again. Like, holy fuck. But yeah. If I were to give a rating for Murder Drones, I would probably give it either a high 7, a very high 7, to a medium 8 out of 10. As despite there being some problems here and there, I quite enjoyed it. But and honestly, I honestly think that the people at Glitch and everyone who worked on the series has genuine potential to do genuinely great things. And I've not watched The Amazing Digital Circus yet, but I definitely do plan on doing so at some point. So please let me know if that's something you guys would want to see me do. But overall, yeah, that was the Boxy the Boxmaster. Back with another review, as well as a speed paint. And I'll see you all in the meantime. So peace.